but kind of wanted to just do this video because A, I'm bored, and B, to just kind of hang out with you guys. So let's talk. First off, talk about Kennedy. Last couple of weeks, or I don't know how long, 2 weeks, I'd say 3 weeks, they were probably in Italy. Frank posted a photograph of the Heathrow Lounge, Concord Lounge. Hey Dave, how you doing? So they're probably on their way back, or they're continuing on the vacation. A lot of people are because the big YouTubers are who they are, think that Favreau's gone, or that's a rumor. I would say somebody made up. Like today, one YouTuber Robot had, hey Cross, thank you very much. I appreciate that. One of the big YouTubers basically was talking about Ahsoka having a second season, and he's looking forward to it because he wanted to buy a new house. Yeah, we get it. You guys make money off of spreading misery, negativity, and bullshit. Okay? That's how you make your money. All right. And it was Robot Head who said it. So it's out there now. They want things to be bad, and they want you to think they're bad even when they're not. So they get attention and super chats and AdSense money. That's all it's about. And it's if you have any brains in your head, you'll not participate with them anymore. Like I said, I've quit all of them. All right, I can't even really be friends with them anymore because it makes me feel dirty, you know. So anyway, going back to Kennedy, she did she come home? Talk about the house. The house has been on the market for 70 days. Now, real estate like that doesn't move quickly, but it tells me that movie people who might be interested don't want it, even at the lower price of $16.9. And foreigners who might be looking at it probably think it's not worth the price. Okay, so you've got that. Now, somebody will come in and say, just because she's selling her house doesn't mean she's leaving. You know, you'll get someone who probably doesn't have a job, has no experience working in situations, has never sold a house because they've never owned property, telling you something and they don't know big business. Like on the Mandalorian boards, someone was trying to explain to me why Rey was popular. And I'm like, no, she's not. Nobody likes that character. I doubt even Daisy Ridley likes the character anymore. Probably didn't when she was playing her. And I said, I said, first off, you guys consider gross film, consider gross box office to be the money the movie actually made. Because the trades and other financial publications will never tell you the net box office, what the studio actually brings home. Okay, that in of itself is false advertising, in my opinion. It made $2 billion. No, it didn't. It made probably $700 million, okay? Because again, you've got to factor in the production, marketing, and what the theaters take, and where it's being shown. Because in China, they only let you take 20%. So if, like, The Force Awakens, or no, The Last Jedi made made like $20 million in China. And what's 20% of that? 5 million? I mean, that's about what it is. And that's terrible. Okay, so let's go further. The merchandise. George Lucas made all of his money on merchandise. Okay, because when you hear movie makers actually talk about the movies, and they're talking about movies like Star Wars, not like Killers of the Flower Moon. If you hear my husband's power washing the deck windows, so okay, but George Lucas made all of his money on merchandising because when Star Wars came out, he negotiated the deal for the merchandising rights. And when Star Wars came out, they weren't ready for how well it was received. So that Christmas, you could get a certificate saying you can expect this figure of Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi, in a month or so. Okay, because they didn't have them on the shelves. They were ready with Empire, okay? Which I think just shows you how surprising the success of Star Wars was. But George made all of his billions on the merchandising. And he took money that he earned from the film itself and put it back in the Empire. Or he put it back into Return of the Jedi. And so we've got that. Now, now I want to talk about the reboot thing because I did a video on that yesterday. It was cross. It was really chaotic because I got like 5 certificates for the figures instead of actually getting the figures, but they weren't available. All right. There is a movement started by a director named James Vaughn, I think. He was interviewed in Variety talking about how bad the sequel trilogies were and what a shitty thing they did to Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, among other things. And then he started talking about, oh, I wish I had mine. Oh, I so wish I had mine. Then he started talking about fixing the characters. And then he went out on a limb and said, we should reboot the original trilogy for a new generation. And I'm like, no, we're not. No, you don't reboot the greatest. Matthew Vaughn. Hi. No, it's not. It cost like $30 at Marshall's. Actually, you're going to die laughing. I got this the day I busted my wrist. I was at Marshall's and I walked through Home Goods, and this girl that has a lot of mental issues, she goes to the church, and yeah, it's Italian. So, but no, this reboot thing. And it's like, but then you go to like the Mandalorian, Facebook pages, and you've got some buddy in his mid-20s to early 30s. It's not a majority parroting the same thing. And it's like, okay, while we're at it, why don't we reboot with the new cast, Gone with the Wind? Rhett Butler can be played by Denzel Washington. Or how about The Godfather and Michael Corleone can be played by Oprah Winfrey? Okay, for a new generation. You don't, it's like rebooting Michelangelo's Pieta. And they don't understand that there's a lack of creativity with this. They don't, all right? They absolutely have no clue about the lack of creativity at all when they talk about this stuff. And reboots, we've all complained about them, right? Show a lack of creativity. They're never as good as the original. And, oh, Mazurus is right there too. I mean, there are always going to be someone with, one of those crumb catchers who doesn't have a job whining about this. For a new generation, they can't watch the original trilogy. Why? You think it's aged out? Fucking Star Wars is timeless. You uneducated millennial Generation Z asshole. And I went off on him. All right, leave it alone. Want to watch Star Wars? Here you go. You want to watch the despecialized, the first, I have the theatrical version. You want to watch that? Watch it how we watch it in the theater? I can do that too, okay? Or the specialized version, all right? It doesn't, but there's an arrogance to this, to these people because of their parents, because of the way they were raised in schools, that thinks that they're allowed to act like this. You know, um, you know, uh, oh, I don't, honestly, I don't think we'll ever have to do that. Again, I remember back in the late 80s, they were talking about doing Casablanca, redoing Casablanca. And Harrison Ford was actually up to play Rick Blaine. That's a good choice. But but he was like, I don't want to do that. So instead of making Casablanca, they went and made Sabrina. And the Sabrina remake was fine. One of the funniest, most embarrassing moments is when Angie Dickinson, who in her prime was, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood, she's playing the daughter, soon-to-be daughter-in-law's mother, and she puts she hits on Harrison Ford. And he's playing a very stuffy, disconnected, very, yeah, she was. Yeah, she was Pepper. Kind of a stodgy guy. And the character of Linus, same character that Humphrey Bogart played in the original. And Harrison does such a good job at playing that character being aghast. Totally like, ew. It was hilarious. All right, it was really, really funny. What else can we talk about? So we talked about the house. I think they're gonna have to drop the price again to get anybody to buy it. Sparrow, the only thing I can say is they are looking at perhaps making a Vader streaming show, which will send the black pills into hysterics. They're going to make they're looking at everything that Kennedy nixed to see if they can maybe resurrect it. Again, he has to be very careful about what he says. I would suggest if Corleone or if this ever, whatever, that the only time he says anything is if someone gets fired. Interesting, and Mays can attest to this. Oh, I'll talk about McCarthy in a bit. I can't say much. There have been an uptick in shilling for the sequel trilogy. And it appears, at least to me, Mays, and Star Wars Wheelhouse, who I know, Mays knows who's behind that account, and I'm not going to say it, who is, that Pablo has about 5 or 6 or 7 burner accounts, and he's been trolling and attacking everybody. There's another one that Jacob Suggs, who won't shut the fuck up. I mean, it's like, and all he does all day is throw shit out about the sequel trilogy. So something is going on within the true enemies of Star Wars to make them try to defend the sequels. Okay. All right. And I always tell people this: if it ends up being a multiverse, oh yeah, he did. I mean, we're pretty convinced that Maze and I actually had a knockdown drag out fight with him in the Geeks and Gamers comment section of a video, but not recently. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, but I also, what are you talking about, weed? Maze, watch this cocksucker. So this is my thing. If they go for a multiverse, don't be mad, okay? Because then the sequel trilogy fans can sit there and beat off to Kyle Ron all they want, and they won't be bothering us. Okay, CJ Johnson must be a faggot and a pedophile, so I'm going to ban him. And so anyway, look, I put the message that this was alive on Twitter. That could have been Pablo himself. That could have been any number one of the black pills. We haven't had any. I mean, Kamran hasn't had any trolls on his Patreon over Sparrow in a while, but now every time Sparrow shows up, says something, one of the black pills shows up under a different name and attacks him. Okay, so anyway, let's go. So yeah, if it goes into a multiverse, we will have the timeline. That's gonna go here, and we don't have to worry about it. I mean, look, life is all about a little bit of compromise, as long as you get what you want. And what we want is a sequel trilogy out of the main timeline. Okay, and that's probably why we're seeing an uptick in trolling on Twitter, etc. Okay, so we'll talk about the Acolyte. People still think it's going to happen because, again, Disney for some reason won't make any announcements. It's not a full streaming show. They never had the money to do it. If you have access to the British records for Blue Stocking Limited, and I did, and I have, you'll see that they had maybe 35 million pounds, which is like 40 or 50 million, $50 million. And that's really not, and then they were over budget, which is a typical Kennedy thing to do. But they didn't have a full TV show filmed. What they had was more than a sizzle reel, probably an entire episode. They just did different things of different episodes. Because look, if you look at the whole timeline, almost a year ago, I was told by somebody that works in British film that his friend told them they're in the middle of filming episode 3. And then by Star Wars Celebration, by Star Wars Celebration, they're in the middle of filming episode 4. And then after, like a week after, they're in the middle of filming episode 5. Really? So you're looking, and then there said post-production. And it's like, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. Because that timeline is stupid. And then, like, they didn't pay their licensing, corporate licensing fees, and they almost basically lost everything to the British Crown. Because if you don't pay those taxes and licensing fees, the Crown takes the property, which would be the film, okay, which would have been interesting. Now, about the McCarthy lawsuit, they took any reference of it off the Los Angeles website. I can't talk about what I know, but suffice to say that no one knows what the acolyte is. The people out there asking questions, okay? And from what Kamran has said, from what Lord Tornaga told me, and other people have said, what is it? Okay. Because, so when you've got idiots out there, including people in the fandom menace, the Black Pills, it's a thing. It's like, where's the marketing? Why haven't we seen anything about it that's not a for sure thing, not something, and the acolyte's going to come in sometime in 2024. It's like, when? Okay, but granted, we have not seen any trailers yet or any marketing for Skeleton Crew. Okay, so we got to think about that too. Okay, so we just got to be patient. It's October now, and we don't know where Kennedy is. She's probably at home. That's the logical place that she is, or she's still traveling. Heathrow is a hub airport, and you can go to fucking Moscow if you want to do that there. I wouldn't want to, but there you go. So, that's a mystery. When did she sign? When did her contract get renegotiated? 4 years ago. Hey, JJ, what's up? Oh, we're just kind of shooting the shit, stuff like that. Anyway, it was in what, 2020, 2021, when people started wondering out loud, when is she resigning to Lucas to be the president of Lucasfilm? And her contract's always up in October. And I've had a feeling, just talking to people, that there could be, don't plant your flag on this, an announcement coming this month that she's retiring. Look, those channels, as Robot had said, I can't wait for it to come out. I want to get a bigger house. That's all it's for. There's the most honest, brazen admittance of grift I have ever seen from somebody from the fandom menace. Okay? They're basically spewing misinformation because it's their job, they think. Okay, look, none of these people care about pop culture. None of these people care to actually allow people within the business to tell them what really is going on. They don't care, all right? It's disgusting, and they're misleading hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, okay? And if we get word that Ms. Kennedy is gone or is retiring in January or something, because I have been told, that she's basically retired. Hard work, they're misled sheep. That's who they are. Okay. People who agree with these fuckers, who are not in any way connected to Hollywood, not like Kamran, not like Lord Tornaga and others. The people who agree with them are just fucking sheep. All right. They don't look. A lot of people who are gamers spend so much time on their phones, playing PS5 and whatever, they can't even tell. They can't even read facial expressions anymore. The new stuff has been awesome. Okay? Stop going to those channels. Start being critical thinkers and start thinking for yourselves. Go to Kamran's Patreon and sign up. Okay? You want to know about the strikes? There you go. You want to know about stuff going on with Star Wars? There you go. I could tell you stuff about the real reasons why Patty Jenkins quit Rogue Squadron. I'm not going to tell you, but I will say this. It basically connects the dots about a lot of shit that went down. Well, don't say that. The yoga instructor is a guru of the EU, but she's so disturbed that she can't understand that you can use what's in the EU and make it better. She's not, I can't share because I'm under a gag order not to. All right. Suffice it to say, when it comes out, when Kennedy's done, and we feel, the moratorium is cut, I will spew all, and it will shock the flying fuck out of you. I don't know if they want her to come back. And the reason isn't because she was wrong. It's because of how bad Wonder Woman was received. Wonder Woman 2. Okay. And the fact that she's pretty much written herself out of Hollywood. Okay, she's not. Okay. Well, you just wait. Your mouth is going to drop open. In fact, I keep saying this and I've got to do it. I might do a Zoom call with Kamran, and if I can record it, we will talk about it, and I will put it on this video, on this. What else? I mean, I know so much about Kennedy's attitude towards actors the fans want, that is just mind-blowing. And look, there's a reason why Spielberg dissed her, is because she finally crossed a line with him, and she dissed George and Harrison twice. Okay, so, he humiliated her and Frank, because Frank allows her to do some of the shit she does, and that's what happened. Okay. So anyway, Kamran just posted something, and I want to read it. So I'm going to go on his Patreon, and I'll probably have. Look, Sci-Fi Universe. I know stuff that went on Capitol Hill. I can't talk about. I promised Mr. Army to his face, I will never talk about it. Okay. I make a promise, I'll keep it. Anyway, I gotta go, so you guys have a good evening and afternoon. I gotta get ready to go to my wine tasting. See y'all around the galaxy.